and those things do not stop with men being successful and women being beautiful. Almost everybody here has values. Everybody here would like a person who has similar values to them, who they have a spiritual connection with whom they have chemistry, with whom they feel something like integrity, that they respect, that they get respect from, that they value intellectually, that they respect intellectually, that they have chemistry with, and so on. What the purpose of this experience is that if you, as we look around and as men look around, they'll often see that while a woman wants all those things from a man, if he is all of those things and not successful in addition to that, he often has a great deal of difficulty getting a woman to love. And if a woman is all of those things, vulnerable, open, bright, intelligent, nurturing, supportive, and she's 100 pounds overweight, or she's now turning 60 and she's gotten divorced recently, she has a much more difficult time getting love than she did when she was 19 and had much less wisdom and much less internal beauty. I could have spent time this evening explaining how both sexes got there, why that was functional for thousands, for millions of years for the survival of the species, and why it has become dysfunctional for the first time in human history in the last 20 or 30 years. For the first time in human history, we've had the economic security to be able to ask a new set of questions that we haven't ever been able to be asked before. Our entire genetic history is in conflict with our genetic future. What it takes for us to survive as a species are not the killer males that used to protect women and children, but now lead to the potential for nuclear warfare. And now, and what's necessary for the survival of marriage and family and caring and intimacy is not characteristics that are inversely related to listening, but characteristics like listening, like opening up, like being vulnerable, like expressing feelings that are in fact inversely related to characteristics of success as we know it today. For the first time in human history, the characteristics that it takes to survive as a species are compatible with the characteristics it takes to love in a marriage, in a relationship of any type. I want to thank you for sharing this evening with me.
One ecology frame. That is, I know that some of you got to experience some nice rejection tonight. Some of you got some nice strokes tonight. What you need now to do is turn the clock back before that time and use those as references for understanding how the other sex may feel, but make sure that there's not a personal emotional feeling there. And that you leave here with just some neat distinctions. That you leave here coming away saying, gosh, I've got another perspective, potentially at least, on how the other sex looks at things and how I would feel and why they do what they do. And understanding the why, as was clearly brought across here by Warren, is probably as important as anything else. If you understand the why, you have a lot more compassion. And my purpose and outcome for this whole thing, the meaning I wanted you to get out of this, was a greater compassion for each other and a greater understanding of the why behind behavior that maybe before you never understood. And so I want to make sure that as you leave this room, that you leave here in a really resourceful place. And instead of running inside your head and saying, gosh, why wasn't I picked first or second or third? I mean, that's what I'm doing, but the rest of you don't do that. Okay. But the rest of you, oh, no. But seriously, make sure that you leave here in a really resourceful place and your attitude is that you learned something. And remember I said the criteria for success in anything we did was, number one, did you learn something? Number two, did you give your all? Did you really play? And by what I could see, most of you really played full out, and I'm sure all of you learned something. So give yourselves a hand. Let's give Warren another hand. Thank you very much.